I'm glad you brought up Libby Schaff because I am interested because you ran against her in 2020. Um, was what what
No,
inspired you?
2018.
Oh,
2018.
2018. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
2018.
But I mean, what inspired you to do that? Was she would just made you that angry that you're just like, I time to step up.
I mean, she did really make me that angry. But that's even when I think about the vitriol right now. I mean, it's no secret that I would go for Libby's jugular all the time. But it was from political facts and reality, right? And connecting her choices to impacts. I actually never had any desire to run for office. I actually think that anybody that wakes up is like, I should be like, we need to check there's something wrong with that
Very true.
person. I was asked by the community, I mean, like from labor, from our families, from different community groups, from education sector, faith leaders, to run. Um, and I'm again political conditions, right? That was actually we were in this place where the neoliberal establishment was really trying to pull Oakland to the right, and there weren't any real progressives in the race, which was going to allow, excuse me, Libby Schaff to run with this narrative that she was a progressive.
Mhm.
And should that narrative go unchecked, we saw right the fallout in terms of what types of policies or practices would come with the next stage of her administration as being really problematic. And so when we first decided, and I say we because it was the People's Campaign, it was not about Cab Brooks, it was really People's Campaign. I built my platform, our platform, together through a series of town halls. Um, uh, was really about just ensuring that we were having a real conversation about the difference between progressive and neoliberal, that we were having a real conversation about the unhoused, we were having a real conversation about public safety, right? Like forcing things to push to the left, and we were successful at that. Um, and for a while, like we never expected to get the seat. And then there was this moment where I think all a lot the voting base of folks that pay attention to the election, that we all collectively inhaled because it became very clear that it was a race between me and Libby.
Yes.
And we lost, but I'm glad for that. But I'm also really impressed. Like we were I'd never run for office. She was an incumbent. We took 43% of the first place votes. Right. And then funneled that energy into actual organizing and ultimately, right, the electoral work. So we do have, I think, the only remaining progressive uh, in electoral politics sitting on city council right now, and that's to council member 5.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, getting second is amazing, against an incumbent. But I also too, I do love how you say that you're kind of glad that you didn't win because I mean, for one, do you think you would have been recalled or at least like a
Oh yeah,
recall campaign would have started?
oh yeah, oh yeah. I was either going to be recalled or assassinated.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I just, I was going to go in and do everything I possibly could. And I was clear about that, the limitations of that, but everything I possibly could to push the types of agendas that I think build healthy and thriving communities, right? Like
Mhm.
open if your building is sitting there and it's empty, I'm putting unhoused people in it. Like that's what we're doing because the answer to homelessness is housing people.
Yes.
I'd spent a lot of time studying the mechanisms of how OPD gets this unchecked overtime. Like the first directive to the city administrator was going to be about reining that in.
Mhm.
So like I had a first 30 days plan, and if I made it past 30 days, then who know what. But I also see I see what's happening and not just to council member Fife, but like to actual progressive that have refused to be moved, across the country. How painful that is, how difficult it is to get stuff done. I think just in general with electoral politics, you do have to make some sort of compromises. I'm not built like that. And I think that I am much more effective, and we've been able to do much more work on this side of those halls of power than I would have been able to do on the inside. And I like to say what I want about who I want, how I want, particularly if it's part of my organizing strategy.
It's hard hard to be political when you don't want to check yourself. It's
I don't, I shoot straight from the hip. I don't play games. And what's right is my mother would say, it's always black and white with you. And I'd be like, no, it's right and wrong. right?
Yes.
It's either right or it's wrong, and
Yes.
that's it.
I'm right there with you.
I'm a Scorpio. What can I say?
I'm a Virgo, so everything's got to be right.